The idea for this sermon this past Sunday has been something I've been challenged with for years, and I mean literally years. So I think about what I'm supposed to be doing, what God has called me to do. And so I've been thinking about how can I, for me, discover God's call for my life.
Has God ever called you to something and you walk toward it? Now, a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this, feel the calling or see the calling of God, and we go the other direction.
And so God placed in my heart to preach from Exodus 3, when God called Moses in his later years. In fact, I think Moses was 80 years old when God called him to the specific task of going to free the children of Israel.
Do you ever feel, by the way, that you are not good enough? God calls you to do something. You say, God, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not cute enough. I don't have enough money. If God ever called you to do something, you told God, I'm not it. And you had all kinds of reasons for pointing out to God, who knows everything, why he should not be calling you.
I think we have a tendency to think that once we get to be a certain age, then maybe we can go retire and retire from everything, right? And just take care of ourselves. I think God continues to call you, right? And if there's a passion that you have for something, then maybe you're a burning bush experience. And I've had this passion to do other things for some time, and I've been just kind of sitting on it. And so I believe that when God has called you to do something, he continues to give you that small voice.
God used an ordinary bush to create an extraordinary miracle that Moses could see. And Moses went toward the bush. God is calling us today. The bush is still burning today. What is God calling you to do? What service has God called you into? And my question to you today is, how have you responded? Did you walk toward the bush as Moses did, or did you walk in the other direction?
Well, I think it begins with recognizing, one, that you're called, right? I think recognizing that God has called you to do something, right? I know there are quite a few people who don't know what God has called them to do, right? But I know it's important to begin with knowing that if you're part of God's family, God has called you to do something.
So I ask you today, as we've seen God's response to Moses, what will be your response to God's call to serve?
I think you start where you are, right? You start where you live, and maybe even you start in your own family, but you start someplace. Sometimes it can be so overwhelming, I think, that we think this is too big and I can't do anything, but you can start just where you are. And then from that, now I believe God blesses the small steps that we take, right? We take a small step. I think God blesses that, and then he helps us to get confident, and it grows from there.
We want to be delivered, but we want God to come down and do it. And brothers and sisters, he might be calling you to do it.